Welcome to the Donley Auctions Unfiltered Podcast, where history meets the highest bidder. We've got amazing stories behind the treasures, insider tips for both buyers and consigners, and maybe even a cameo or two from Tucker the Auction Dog.
Join us each week on your favorite podcast platform that supports video, like YouTube or Spotify. We've got some great visuals to enhance every episode. Good afternoon. I'm Randy Donley from Donley Auctions, here with
Mike Donley.
Can you see us both in that camera good?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, thank you for tuning in with us on our Unfiltered podcast. And today we've been asked questions, about military collecting in general. We do about 4 gun and military auctions a year. We do at least one auction a month live, and then of course several online auctions along with that. But about 4 of our monthly military auctions are military and guns. And so people have said, why do people collect military? Everybody's got a reason as to why they collect anything or what they collect and how they collect and that. And I've showed you this picture before, and that is, I was, about 10 years old in this picture. And this is all, by the way, World War I military items in my original collection. And the way I got started collecting is because when you're a young boy, or at least I was a military collector, because I played Army with this stuff. It was fun to always play Army, with the kids in the neighborhood. And so I found it fun to use real uniforms and equipment. And so I collected just to play with it. Now, one would say, well, why did you collect World War I? It wasn't that I collected World War I. Our father, had a gas station in Berwyn, Illinois, and our clientele just was of that age. All of our customers were probably in their 60s, huh?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
This is in the 1960s. So all these guys are like 60 years old, and I was buying their uniforms and everything, and they were all World War I veterans. So that's how I started to acquire World War I items, was to play with it. And Mike, you really pushed more right to the guns. Of course, you were a couple of years older than me.
Yeah,
and,
I enjoyed collecting.
Mike
guns.
is, by the way, older than me. Mike is the older brother. I want everybody to know that.
But I started collecting guns. I was probably 12 or 14 when I started collecting guns. But getting back to the military, and with the guns too, we got to the point where we would outfit all our friends with helmets and uniforms and guns. Our dad would make us take the bolts out of the guns.
Yeah, we just took the bolts out of the guns and we played with these things.
Yeah, we played real military. And I remember one time, I think old man Schmidt across the street called the police on us, and the police showed up because there was people out of the street with guns. And
well, could you imagine today if you saw a bunch of preteens with rifles in the neighborhood?
But even when you would go to collect, people would say, "Oh, here's a Luger," or whatever.
we would go door to door and ask people if they had stuff for sale. And the people back in those days, in the 60s, nobody thought anything of selling guns to us. I mean, and I had a standard amount. If it was a Japanese rifle, I paid $8 for it. And if it was a Luger pistol, I would pay up to $25 for a Luger. And but we had our set prices, and Mike and I would shovel snow, cut lawns and everything. I think we've told you this before.
Yeah.
And that's how we started to collect with money that we made. Remember Christmas caroling? It's winter right now. We would decide we needed money, so we'd get some kids in the neighborhood together and we'd Christmas carol.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now imagine all these poor people, their doorbell rings and we just start singing. and don't stop until they hand you $1 or $2. Talk about a guilt trip.
Yeah.
But those are the ways we would raise money for us to support our hobby, and so that's why we collected. And then, of course, there were already, back in those days, there were military relic shows out there, and we started to go to them. And
well, the biggest thing was the flea markets, though. Remember?
Flea markets.
Remember, was it 79th in Columbus? Is that the big one you used to go to? The Double
Yeah.
Drive-In.
Mm-hmm.
Double Drive-In in Chicago. What a show.
Yeah.
And there was surplus stores. Remember Stark's Warehouse?
Stark's Warehouse on Harlem Avenue, wasn't it?
Yeah, 50-something Harlem.
It was a World War II surplus store. The government sold stuff to surplus stores because after World War II, they had to slowly sell off all of their surplus. They couldn't just dump it all on the market at one time, or they would have put a lot of businesses out of business.
Yeah,
it would have been too much supply.
And the war ended actually with the dropping of the bomb. The war ended before they thought it was going to. So they had contracts going out 2 or 3 years farther out with companies for uniforms, refrigerators, Jeeps, anything. And the government fulfilled those contracts, like you said. Otherwise, those companies would have thrown the country right back into a depression. So they had to accept those orders and then store them and then slowly get them out back into the economy. And through Army surplus stores, they would have big government auctions and these surplus stores that buy it. And I mean, you could buy brand new uniforms, fatigues that you could wear them and they'd last forever. I mean,
we would wear them for hunting and stuff.
Yeah. I had a jacket. I don't know, the field jacket, one of those field jackets. I think I wore the thing for 15 years. I think I still have it somewhere. But you could buy anything there. Remember, you could buy. I remember you had Norden bomb sights.
Norden bomb sights was a big thing. Yeah.
They had flight jackets. Remember, you said there was a pile of flight jackets there one day.
There was a pile of brown leather flight jackets. And when I was there was a woman with one of these seam cutters, and she was taking the insignia, all the squad patches and everything, off the jackets because they were selling the squad patches separately from the jackets. And I don't remember if the jackets were $8 or $12 for the leather jacket, but the squad patches they wanted $4 for, which I thought was outrageous at the time. But yeah, those were the days. But again, everybody got collecting for different reasons, and then there were a lot of people, of course, that over the years they started to specialize. They would find one item more interesting than another. All of a sudden, you'd become a helmet collector,
bayonets,
or a dagger collector, or just medals and insignias, and you would specialize and get into one field or another. But one of the beautiful things about, I think, military collecting and guns for that matter, is the fact that it's one of the few hobbies that really we don't see a decline in as far as value.
Oh no, it's still very strong.
Yeah, there's so many hobbies that prices are going down, but really not in military. I would have to say it's if you're collecting today, it's one of your better investments.
Right, and the thing with military is it continues on. I mean, you have, the older stuff, but you have constantly new conflicts and things like that. I mean,
I wish we didn't, but
no, but
but we do.
Vietnam's so hot right now. 15, 20 years ago, you couldn't give Vietnam stuff away, and now it's crazy, and we're moving to.
That's really an interesting point that you bring up. If once the conflict or the military gets too far removed, the collectors drop off because people kind of forget about it. World War I to me became boring very fast because I didn't understand World War I and really at that age didn't care about it. So I dropped off of World War I almost immediately and started collecting World War II. It was only 25 years old. And I could relate to World War II a lot better. And then as friends of ours were coming home from Vietnam and bringing home Vietnam souvenirs, it was just too current. And it was like everybody had Vietnam stuff, so who wanted it? And I was certainly not a collector, and I couldn't have cared less. Guys were trying to give me their uniforms and stuff that they captured in Vietnam, and I said, what do I want that for? And today, again, the age group has moved where Vietnam collecting and some of the other more current conflicts are very, very collectible, whereas those collectors might not even want World War II today.
Right.
So
they've moved on from it.
So the hobby continues. Yeah. Prices are strong. Prices are good. We need you to come either here in person this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, the 14th and the 15th. We have the big Civil War extravaganza auction.
Just unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. I mean, there's museums that don't have this quality and quantity. It's
what did you think when we first walked into this gentleman's condo and see this collection?
Well, first of all, we went there not really hoping for much because, Civil War stuff, if you get one or two items out somebody has, nobody or very few people collect in this quality and quantity. So we were expecting a bunch of reproduction items.
Well, and that happens so often. We get there and it's reenactor stuff. All current items made for reenactors. I mean, that happens to us all the time. So, but when you saw the collection, what was your?
It was just heart-stopping. I mean, it just, everywhere you looked, it was the best of the best of the best.
Now, one of the biggest problems with collecting today is knowing what's real and what's not. What would you say is probably the biggest faked item in military collecting today?
Today, I would go with German World War II daggers.
Daggers.
Absolutely,
okay.
Yeah.
And here's something interesting. Again, when we started to collect, this is the 1960s when we started to collect. And we would go to flea markets and everything, but we never thought, again, as preteens, we didn't think about stuff either being real or not real. We never even knew such a thing existed, that they were making fakes in the 1960s. So the war's only over 20, 25 years. They're already making fakes and selling them to people. So if you bought something that was fake in the 1960s, right now it's got 60 years of age on it, and it really looks good. And here's a common problem. Okay, here's a dagger, a German dagger. It's a chained dagger, and these are commonly faked because of the value. This is a real one, but and this dagger will probably sell for a couple $1,000.
What model is it?
1,500 at the bare minimum. NSKK. It's an SA dagger, black scabbard, chain, nice piece, original. But here's probably one of the most commonly faked daggers for sure, and this is a fake, political. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good-looking dagger. I mean, an inexperienced eye is going to look at this, especially if you were buying it at somebody's garage sale or something. You look at this and you go, oh my God, a rare German political dagger. And, if this was real, you'd be talking in the low thousands. However, this dagger, even though it looks as good as it does, is probably $50 to $100. There's the big difference. So you have to buy from a reputable dealer.
Oh yeah, because like say, even in the house sales, I mean, unfortunately, there's people that are putting these out in the house sales, push them through there again. Because if a person who's just starting collecting knew that was a $2,000 dagger or whatever, a $3,000 dagger, and they saw that for $500 or $600, they're going to think they got the deal of the day.
It happens too often, and people would lead you to believe that it was a family piece. Their uncle brought it home from World War II.
And unfortunately, you're stuck with it. I mean, you go to try to sell this to a collector, they're going to know right away. Yeah. Somebody who's experienced, and try and go back to the house sale or the flea market you bought it at. Lucky if you ever find the person again.
So again, this is in this week's auction, and it's labeled as a fake. And it's good for reenacting. A lot of people want it, or display purposes. There's nothing wrong with buying fakes as long as you know they're fakes.
And pay the value of a fake, yeah.
Right. A very good point to make is it's not always the current owner that is the person that's trying to deceive you. So many times over the years, people are selling these type of things and they really think they're real. A couple ways that can happen. Over the years, maybe Grandpa did have this dagger, and some unethical dealer came into the house and made a swap, and traded Grandpa, a fake for the real thing, and Grandpa didn't know any better. Or there's just so many ways that families believe they've got the real McCoy, and they're selling it to you as real, and they just don't know. So it's not always somebody, trying to intentionally deceive, but they just don't know any better. You see the real one, and you know what to look for. And there are subtle things that, there's just, you just know.
And that's the purpose of going to shows, even coming to auctions here. You can handle the real item, you can look at the real item. If you're a new collector just starting out, don't be afraid to ask questions, because we want to nurture along the new collectors. So we want to help you learn.
We want the hobby to keep going.
Yeah, we'll show you what to look for and such. Everybody's going to get burned sooner or later. You and I both have,
Absolutely.
Many times. I mean, it's all part of the learning process. But the less you can get burned, the better off you're going to be in the long run. And you got to learn. There's books, there's articles on this. So if you're really serious
online,
really serious about collecting, don't be afraid to ask questions, because true collectors will always be able to help out a new collector. The Germans took such pride in their stuff that if you put that next to a real one, then you would be able to see just the detail and the quality. I mean, that looks nice.
Yeah, but as Mike is pointing out, when you just look at the eagle's head, it's just almost like a silhouette of a head, not on the real one. And the real one, I mean, it's very detailed and very precision. The grips are plastic; they're not pearl. The engraving is stamped; it's not engraved. I mean, there's just so many things. If you can't make it this weekend, the auction for Civil War is on Saturday. Please go to DonleyAuctions.com. Go to our website, see the collection. And if you want to bid, you can bid online, of course, or call us. We can put in an absentee bid for you. We can also do phone bids. So that's another option. And then guns. Oh my God, huh?
Yeah,
500 guns here on Sunday.
Guns here, yeah. Anything you want. I mean, anything from a 22 for target shooting or for a youth gun, all the way up to hunting rifles and shotguns, military weapons. I mean, it's all here.
And that's one of the fun things, again, about our gun auctions is it's not all collector grade guns. I mean, you can buy guns in every price range, as little as $50 on up to $10,000, and everything in between. Now, I mentioned earlier there's something for everybody in this Civil War collection, and we've got all different price ranges. You can buy Civil War memorabilia for probably as little as $50 on up into the thousands. But this is an interesting item in that if you're a Civil War reenactor, this is a great item for you. It's a replica of a Gatling gun, but it's a working replica. And that is this. It shoots 45-70s. Now, you can shoot live out of this because it has rifled barrels, but also it shoots blank loads for reenacting, and it's a great piece. Now, the big difference here, if this was a original vintage Gatling gun, you'd probably be looking at $250,000 to $300,000. And you wouldn't want to use that in your reenacting. Or you can buy this for probably around $15,000 and have a great item. You know, everybody's got a cannon in a Civil War reenactment, but very few reenactors come loaded with a Gatling gun. Here's another fun item at the auction. This is a World War I German cannon, World War I. It's a great field piece. The nice thing about this is somebody's already rebuilt the wheels for you. So it's a good rolling cannon right now. A lot of times the wheels are all rotted out and you can barely move them. This has already had thousands of dollars done to the wheels. So it's a good rolling piece. Very rare item. We're going to be selling this on Sunday during the military portion of the gun and military auction. That's this Sunday, December 15th. Don't miss it. I'm here right now with Jim Obos, our photographer. What's the name of your company?
JPM Photography, Your Dreams Captured.
And you know what? First, he helps us out here at Donley Auctions, but full time you do concert work, don't you?
We do band work, we do concert work, weddings. I mean, you name it. We're a lot of corporate work, so we do a lot of stuff.
So make sure you put that on the video. But what I want to do right now is just compliment you, Jim. I want everybody to know that Jim is our photographer, he and his wife Becky, and they do such a phenomenal job. I want to thank you for the compliments we get on the quality of photographs. When we're trying to sell firearms, especially out of state, it's so important that every little item, serial number and everything, or nick in the stock is taken. And Jim is who's responsible for all that. He's in charge of photography here, and he just does a really wonderful job. And so I just want to publicly thank him. Again, 500 guns in this auction alone. About how many items a week do you shoot here? I mean, it's not just firearms.
I don't even know, but to the point that Randy made on the nicks and dings and things on there, when I look at a product that comes in or stuff that comes to our desk, the first thing I do is obviously I look over it, check things out, see where the serial numbers are, if there are serial numbers on there, or if there's something good or bad about the product itself, in this particular case a gun. But we just look it over and then start shooting it, photographing it, making sure that every little detail is hit, so when you guys look at it, it's the same thing you see when you come in and put it in your hands.
And to that point, I just wanted to point out that we don't have one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 M1 carbines in this auction, and a nice selection of M1 Garands. So go to DonleyAuctions.com, look at the whole catalog of both days. Civil War on Saturday, the 14th, and Guns and Military on Sunday, the 15th. So go to DonleyAuctions.com, look over the whole catalog, and look at some of Jim's handiwork.
Thanks.
Here's some more great items that just walked in the door. Slot machines. You see them lined up here. We're always looking for more slot machines, jukeboxes, and pinball machines because, routinely we have these items featured in our auctions. So if you have slots, jukeboxes, pinball machines, definitely let us know. And remember, we're collecting right now for our next sports auction, okay? We need sports memorabilia, original autographs, we need gear, equipment, sports cards, and as my brother keeps saying to everybody, you certainly want to check out those sports cards because it's like a winning lottery ticket. So let us look at them and evaluate them for you.
And you know, our auctions are fun. I mean, I was just at a show down in Nashville. I was in Nashville at the big Civil War show last weekend, and a couple guys came up to me and said how much they enjoyed coming to our auctions because they said it's not like the normal auction. I mean, there's excitement here. I mean, we feed you. We got, you know, it's Little Caesars pizza, but
everyone loves Little Caesars.
Everybody loves it. Ding, 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 ding for Little Caesars. You know, we got, you know, coffee and rolls in the morning and a nice place to sit.
All complimentary,
A nice place to sit, you know, and relax. You know, everybody's got a table to sit at.
And you meet other collectors,
too.
Yeah.
So it's a fun time. So even if you're not here to buy something, just to see the whole circus of it, it's just great.
Like a mini convention.
Yeah, it is.
So I guess for now, I'm Randy Donley.
And I'm Mike Donley.
And we'll see you at the auction. Brace it up.
All right.
We're going up and up and up and up. Up we go. A little higher, a little higher. Okay. So that's good. I think we can see it all. So for now, I'm Randy Donley, and we'll see you at the auction.